It all starts with Momo Iase, the kind of girl who, for some reason, thought it was a great idea to date a guy who's basically human trash. They're having this epic breakup right in front of the school because, get this, the dude's asking for money. Like, he's not even subtle about it. He's like, yo, Momo, gimme some cash, and hey, let's also hit the sheets while we're at it. Momo, yeah, she's had it. She goes for a roundhouse kick like she's Ryu from Street Fighter, except she's not. Totally flops it. Dude blocks it and kicks her back. Relationship over. Real smooth. And to top it off, she's yelling at him, calling him a squid, octopus, and tuna. Yeah, she basically turned him into a seafood platter. Very effective, Momo, very effective. So, what does she do? She vents to her friends. He's an octopus, okay? And her friends are like, Momo, those aren't even insults. They're just dinner options. Also, why'd you date him? And Momo, in true desperate fashion, says, well, he kind of looked like Ken Takakura, you know, the actor I've been crushing on since forever. And her friends, like any good friends, hit her with the cold truth, girl, dudes like that don't exist anymore. They're like dinosaurs. Extinct. Flash forward a little, and Momo's wandering the school halls, sighing like a sad protagonist in a rom-com. She's all, I'm never gonna find my Ken Takakura. And then, bam, she spots a nerd getting bullied in the next room. You know, your classic dudes throwing paper balls at the kid reading a UFO magazine scene. So Momo, being the badass she thinks she is, sits next to the guy, and suddenly, the paper ball barrage stops. The nerd's safe, for now. But then, oh boy, the nerd gets real confident. He turns to her and goes, oh, you must be a UFO fan too, right? That's when the crazy starts. He pulls out his magazine like it's the gospel and goes, aliens are real. The world's gearing up for a space war. Like, calm down, buddy, this isn't Independence Day. Momo tries to ignore him, but he just keeps going until she snaps. This is why you don't have any friends. Boom. Critical hit. The dude looks like he's been hit by a truck full of feels. Realizing she might have gone too far, Momo grabs his magazine off the floor and says, I don't believe in aliens, but I do believe in ghosts. And what does the nerd do? He starts laughing like she just told him the dumbest thing ever. Ghosts? Really? He says. But Momo's like, yeah, my grandma was a medium. She did exorcisms and stuff, okay? The nerd, obviously not buying it, hits her with, nah, it's probably just some medical condition. And then they start bickering like an old married couple until Momo's friends show up. They take one look at the situation and go, oh, Momo's ditched the Ken lookalikes and is going for nerds now. Cute. Anyway, things get real when Momo challenges the nerd to a bet. She's all, I'll prove ghosts exist, and when I win, you'll be my servant. The nerd, not one to back down, goes, I'll prove aliens exist, and when I win, you will be my servant. Oh, it's on now. Night falls, and the nerd sends Momo to an abandoned hospital, claiming it's famous for UFO sightings and abductions. Momo, being sarcastic as usual, asks if he's ever been abducted. The kid's on the other end of the phone, standing by a creepy tunnel, the place Momo claimed had loads of ghost sightings. He's like, I dunno, maybe I have? Aliens usually wipe your memory after they abduct you. This guy's clearly watched Men in Black too many times. Then he asks Momo if she's ever seen a ghost, and she shares a story about her childhood, when her grandma would make her do weird key rituals on the way to school. Of course, this led to some serious bullying, and even her crush mocked her. She was mad at her grandma for a while, but later realized she wasn't mad at her grandma, she was mad at the kid for dissing her grandma. Meanwhile, the nerd suddenly spots an old lady standing in the tunnel. And not just any old lady, she offers him the weirdest trade deal ever. I'll let you suck these if you let me devour that. I'm not making this up. The guy freaks out, runs for his life, and Momo's on the phone like, dude, that's Turbo Granny. If she outruns you, you're cursed for life. But does he listen? Nope. And guess what? Call drops. Perfect. So, Momo rushes to save the nerd, but before she can, she's captured by these three alien dudes. Momo wakes up almost naked, strapped to an alien dentist's chair. The men introduce themselves as Serpoians from the planet Serpo. They tell her not to be afraid because they're friendly beings, while Momo's tied to some alien dentist chair in her underwear. Friendly, my butt. They explain that on their planet, they reproduce via cloning because there are no females, which impedes the natural evolution of their species. That's why they want to use her body for human reproduction research. Momo refuses to participate in the experiment, but the aliens use psychokinesis to control her mind waves so she'll stop resisting. And just when they were about to throw a Diddy's party, Momo's phone rings, and guess what? The nerd, now possessed by Turbo Granny, flies out of her phone and starts beating up the Serpoians. He's all, sorry for doubting ghosts, Momo, now I'm cursed. One alien's like, how did this guy teleport using a phone? We can't even do that. Good question, alien. I've got questions too. Momo tells him to help her, and he starts throwing punches at the aliens. But they've got telekinesis, and he's not exactly Goku, so they slam him into a wall. The aliens are like, "We've always been nice to humans. Why so violent? But if you really want to help her, you can give us your banana." And the nerd, without missing a beat, goes, "Take my banana, I don't care." He then launches into this heartfelt speech about how he's always been invisible to everyone, humans, aliens, whatever, but Momo was the first person to ever care about him. And just as he's about to go Super Saiyan on the aliens, they knock him into the wall again. Tough break, kid. Momo, meanwhile, starts having flashbacks of her grandma teaching her how to use her ki. She remembers calling her grandma a fake, and then boom, her psychic powers awaken. She apologizes to her grandma, releases her ki, and kicks one of the aliens so hard he flies out of the spaceship. Now the ship's crashing, of course. Momo finds the nerd, but he bites her because the curse is taking over. She manages to exorcise Turbo Granny out of him, but the curse is still going strong. Turbo Granny pops up and says she's keeping his, manhood. Yeah, you heard that right. If they want to break the curse, they'll have to face her again in the tunnel. Momo's like, "Give him back his junk," but she vanishes. The spaceship crashes, Momo and the nerd escape, and they both agree that, yep, aliens and ghosts are real. The nerd takes off his clothes, gives them to Momo, and tells her to head home while he goes to the tunnel to deal with Turbo Granny. Momo, of course, refuses to let him go alone. He apologizes, saying he's just a weird guy. And Momo? She's hit with deja vu because that's exactly what Ken Takakura used to say. So she asks for his name, and guess what? It's Ken Takakura. Yep. Same name as her celebrity crush. Cue dramatic music. And that's how the anime ends. It's one of the most hyped shows of the year, and trust me, you need to watch it. Go for the dubbed version if you want to laugh your butt off. That's it for now. Stay weird, folks.